What's going on, everybody? It's another Al Gattulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer, the last one for February of 2025. Can you believe how quickly February just blew by? The title track from Black Sabbath's Paranoid. And I have to tell you, I'm sure that you heard the news. Ozzy Osbourne is doing one final concert in his hometown of Birmingham, England. I know the tickets went on sale about a week and a half ago. Sold out instantly. I know a lot of people in America were trying to get tickets to it and got, just had to wake up in the middle of the night to try and get it because England is 6 hours ahead, et cetera, et cetera. And, some people scored, a lot of people didn't. But anyway, this concert is taking place, I believe it's in July, if I'm not mistaken, or is it June? I don't remember. I'm not going, obviously. But it's in his hometown of Birmingham. Black Sabbath is going to play, and the guest list of bands and artists that are playing is just enormous. And they're all going to do, or at least I guess all of them are going to do a cover of a Sabbath song. So Ozzy has said he will not be playing the full set with Black Sabbath. Like, he's going to come out and do a song or two with them, a couple songs, how he feels, because he can't really stand, so he's probably going to be seated. I'm assuming they're going to put him on a throne or something and then let him do his thing. Jakey Lee's going to be there, his Ozzy band, a bunch of his old Ozzy mates are going to be there from his solo bands. It's an impressive display of people that are going to be at this thing, and I can't imagine, if anybody's going, would love to hear from you, because I'd love you could be like a little correspondent on the weekend of that show. I'm pretty sure it's the first week of July. I'm almost positive it was July 4th or something like that, July 5th, somewhere around there. Anyway, going to be kind of cool. Black Sabbath for the final time with Ozzy Osbourne. Now, coming up in 20 minutes, Phil Petracca from Source Brewing. We've had Phil on plenty of times on the show. You've heard me talk so much about Source Brewing. He's going to join me from Source in Colts Neck, New Jersey. It's an interview that I taped this past Thursday. But he's also of Bella Ray Beverage. Now, what is Bella Ray Beverage? Well, you're going to find out all about it. Now, this is going to be a two-part interview over 2 weeks. This week is going to focus on Bella Ray. Next week, we'll focus on Source Brewing. So I'm going to do it as one interview, but I'm going to break it up into two parts. Because, to be quite honest, I'm being lazy here. I'm taking a couple of days off the following week. It is my wedding anniversary, married 25 years. It's also the 1-year anniversary of the death of my mother-in-law. And so my wife and I are going to spend some quiet time together, and I'm not going to really have a lot of time the following week to put stuff together for a show. So it's easier if I do this. And so we're going to split up Phil's interview into two parts. The first part of it coming up in just about 20 minutes from now. Tilray, which has acquired so many different breweries over the past couple of years, including their work in cannabis and trying to get cannabis legalized here in the United States on a federal level, they have shut down Revolver's location in Granbury, Texas. It'll remain open as a tap room and do some small-scale brewing for on-location consumption, but otherwise, the beer is going to be brewed elsewhere in the Tilray system. They did not mention if there would be layoffs. I assume that there will be. Again, for those of you who are angry that Tilray is doing these things, at the end of the day, it's a business. You cannot keep every business open if it's not making money for you. And if you don't have the ability to absorb that loss, that's a problem. Tilray is betting the beer will get them to a point where if and when cannabis becomes, it becomes legal on the federal level, that's the game changer for them. And then that's when they'll see profits. And then maybe they say, all right, we keep a brewery or two around that's not really doing well, but we keep it in there anyway. That's the key here. They're running it as a business. I don't really see them having a problem with that, moving forward. Well, we'll see. From Brew York and beyond, great little Substack to follow because there's some great stuff in there. And two of the things that are happening locally, two more places are closing in New York City. And they report that Cardiff Giant, which selling New York-made beverages to go during the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2021, they started that. Now, they were a pioneering bar, according to this, in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn, specialized in exclusively New York-made beverages. They're going to close at the end of this month after 9 years in business. It opened back in 2016. It was focused entirely on beverages made in New York, especially at a time when there weren't a lot of breweries in New York State and New York City. That has obviously ramped up. And the focus on local, according to this article, even went as far as the snacks at the bar were New York-centric. That's pretty cool. I've never been there, and it's a shame. I would have loved to have gone there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it there. Their last day of service for Cardiff Giant is Saturday, March 1st. They're going to celebrate the bar's 9th and final anniversary with a send-off party. The other one I had meant to mention last week and forgot is Barcade in Jersey City. They are closing after 15 years in business. The last day of business is going to be June 15th. The reason why is the landlord raised their rent to a tremendous amount, and it just is one of those things where it's not feasible. I've been to the Barcade in Jersey City. Great little spot. It's a shame that they're closing. However, they are opening a fourth New York City Barcade location, which is under construction right now on Cortlandt Street in Lower Manhattan, not that far from me, and it should be open later this year. The original location in Brooklyn just celebrated their 20th anniversary last fall. The one in Jersey City opened back in 2010. So an impressive bit, 15 years in business. But again, the rent just too high, and they have decided instead of paying that exorbitant amount of money that they're going to close. Totally makes sense. I get it. It's a shame that they are closing, though. And Flagship Brewery is having their big St. Paddy's Day parade party, pre-party, on Friday, February 28th at 8 p.m. Live music from the Canny Brothers, Wolfhound Nitro Stout, Red Ale, and Irish Coffee Stout will be flowing all night. You can spin the Nitro wheel for prizes. There'll be parade hoodies on sale. It's a $15 cover at the door. And as Flagship says, don't miss out on one of our biggest parties of the year. Grab your crew, raise a pint. Let's kick off parade weekend the right way. Salante. Again, the St. Patrick's Day parade usually takes place about a week or two before the actual St. Patrick's Day parade in Manhattan on Staten Island, and Flagship doing a big kickoff party on Friday, February 28th at 8 p.m. Again, it's a $15 cover at the door, so kudos to them. When we come back after a short break, it's more news and notes from around the beer world. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Classic Black Sabbath, War Pigs, Luke Swall from the Paranoid album. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer, Black Sabbath, a final tour, Ozzy Osbourne, basically one show in Birmingham coming up on Saturday, July the 5th. In England, tickets went on sale about a week ago. They sold out literally in moments. Sure to be an epic show. The lineup that is going to be there, and they're all going to be doing Black Sabbath songs, Ozzy songs. Ozzy has said he will not do a full set with Black Sabbath. He'll pick and choose, do a couple songs. It'll be interesting to see. I think Guns N' Roses is supposed to be there, and there's speculation that Axl will do a lot of the Black Sabbath stuff. It'd be interesting to see. He did replace Brian Johnson and AC/DC when they had to finish up their last tour a number of years ago, and did a really good job from what I heard. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be quite interesting. Now, coming up in just 10 minutes, Phil Petracca from Source Brewing and Beverage Beverage is going to join me from Source in Colts Neck, New Jersey. Now, what is Beverage Beverage, you ask? Well, you're going to find out all about it. They are in Asbury Park. They're not open to the public, but you're going to find out all about Beverage Beverage. It's a two-part interview. So we'll talk with Phil about Beverage in the first segment that'll air this week, and then next week we'll focus on Source Brewing because obviously they have a number of locations at Source, not only in Colts Neck, but they have They have their location in Fishtown in Philly. They're opening in Manayunk. So we'll get all the we'll get the scoop straight from Phil coming up this week and next week, which will be really cool. Now, according to the Cornell Chronicle, after decades of growth, we've mentioned this, craft beer nationwide is in its worst ever slump. We're seeing breweries closing. We're seeing, some breweries opening, but a lot of breweries are closing, et cetera, et cetera. And with negative production for the second straight year and more craft brewery closures in 2023 than ever before. But the graph for New York State, though, hasn't wobbled, with 539 craft breweries and counting, ranking it second in the nation. As Paul Leone, the executive director of the New York State Brewers Association, said to the Chronicle, "We are holding steady. It's one of those states where some craft breweries are closing, some are opening, some are expanding, and some are right-sizing. That leaves us flat, which is not a bad thing in this environment." And I would agree. Cornell's college paper explained the relative health of New York State craft brewers and on a combination of consumer enthusiasm, a tradition of cooperation, and the right mix of savvy state policies and technological innovation. Cornell has recently doubled down on its commitment to craft beer research and industry support, for the first time adding an extension associate to focus on brewing with the Craft Beverage Institute. So that's great. And we have seen that. And I think there's a reason for that we're seeing more of that, of the stability in New York State. We were seeing a few breweries opening here and there. I mean, Killsborough still hasn't opened their place yet. They were supposed to be open last year. So it would go on the books for this year. But my point is, what New York has been able to do, which I think is really cool, that I would love to see New Jersey do it. I don't know if Philly does it. I don't think they do. But, actually, I do think that Philly does it to some extent. In New York, if you're using ingredients from New York, you're considered a farm brewery, an in-state brewery, whatever the technical term is. But you're able to serve other things that are produced in New York, like cider, like wine, spirits. Those are important things. Again, it's about getting different people into your business. The event this weekend that kicks off New York City Beer Week and New York City Brewed, all New York City breweries, but they also did all New York City spirits and coffee and sake and wine and cider and all kinds of stuff. I'll have a full review next week. But that's a way of getting people in. Like, hey, we don't just have beer at our event. We have all this other stuff, too. That's really cool. And that, I think, is the reason why New York State is doing well. I'm not saying they're thriving. I'm not saying they're losing. They're right in the middle there. And if you can turn a little bit of a profit right now, you're in good shape. Now, again, I know that's the exception to the rule. But, again, I think by innovating yourself, you will bring people into your establishment. Prost Brewing in Colorado has kicked off 2025 with a classic limited release. It's Prost Helles. It is a 5% ABV Munich-style golden lager with bright, vibrant notes and the old-world earthiness of Pilsner and Vienna malts, offset by a very traditional noble hop character. Prost President David DeLine says the German word Helles means pale, and while it's now considered a traditional style, it actually caused controversy when it was introduced in the mid-1800s, challenging older, darker styles for the title of real Bavarian lager. And speaking of, older places, McSorley celebrated, I think it was their 117th anniversary in New York last week. All they serve is two beers, light, dark. Which do you want? That's it. Sawdust on the floor. McSorley's is an institution. If you're here in New York visiting, certainly check out McSorley's. You will not be disappointed. Now, this is a funny story. I actually saw this story a couple days ago, and I thought it was great. So I mentioned this on the program that actor Tom Holland has a new non-alcoholic beer. It's called Beerio. He had decided to cut back on drinking, and he wanted something that was refreshing and this and that. They put out a couple of different beers. I still haven't tried it yet. But he went to go and find some. He was in America. And he went to go find some at a Target because they sell them at Target. I guess they did a deal with Target to have this non-alcoholic beer in Target. He went to 3 different Targets. The first 2, he couldn't find it. Wasn't there. The third one, he finds it and tries to buy it. Well, apparently, his United Kingdom ID was turned down when he tried to buy Beerio. He joked that it's kind of ironic that I wasn't allowed to buy my own product, which I thought was hysterical. The other thing is, I didn't think he had to show ID for non-alcoholic beer. You wouldn't have to. It's non-alcoholic. You can ship it anywhere. It doesn't require a signature. I mean, I know because Athletic Brewing has shipped beer to my house all the time. Never needs a signature. I thought that was hysterical. I think it's funny that he went to three different Targets. The first two didn't have it, and then in the third one it did, but he needed to provide ID. Just very strange. Very, very strange. Team Player Productions have announced the 9th annual Vail Craft Beer Classic. It's taking place June 13th and 14th at Vail Village, 141 East Meadow Drive in Vail, Colorado. More than 40 breweries and beverage makers from all over the Centennial State and beyond will be pouring their best suds at this all-inclusive event set in picturesque Vail. This can't-miss summer event includes seltzer and spirits from beverage makers, food trucks, and live music. Tickets are on sale right now. The ultimate modern destination craft beer festival brings back its friendly competition where beer lovers and breweries can vote for Best Beer of Summer awards. There's 2 tasting sessions. Friday from 4 to 7. If you want to get in early, it's at 3:30. Saturday, 2 to 5 p.m., 1:30 is the early access. These tickets may have gone up in price, so I don't want to give out the early access tickets and what their price is because it could have gone up already. This is for the first 100 tickets sold, and my guess is by the time you listen to this, those tickets will have been sold already. They are also proud to partner with the Vail Valley Mountain Trails Association. A portion of the proceeds from the ticket sales will support VVMTA's mission of supporting a community of diverse participants that vigorously supports the maintenance and construction of sustainable mountain biking and hiking trails throughout Eagle County. Tickets, and for more information on all of this, VailCraftBeerClassic.com. They will have 100 all-inclusive craft beer offerings, including cider, spirits, and seltzers, live music, and a commemorative tasting glass, which is really, really cool. So that's the Vail Craft Beer Classic, June 13th and 14th in Vail Village. So kudos to them, and thank you to my good friend Shay Franz for sending that information over. Of course, Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival, Saturday, March 29th. They are looking for volunteers. Just go to acbeerfest.com for more details on that. You can also buy your tickets there. Noon to 4, Census Fail. 7 to 11, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes are the bands. They are doing fee-free tickets all across the state. Bunch of different breweries. Again, all the details at acbeerfest.com. But if you want to volunteer, if you volunteer to work one session, you'll get a ticket for free for the other session. Or you can work the entire day as a volunteer. You get paid a day rate, which is really cool. Big Brew taking place next week at the Morristown Armory. BigBrewNJ.com is the website for tickets. A VIP hour from noon to 1, and then general admission from 1 to 5. Live music by Mr. Lovejoy, Morristown Armory, 430 Western Avenue in Morristown, New Jersey. It's a benefit for the Morris Rugby Corporation. BigBrewNJ.com for tickets and info. And Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale with Dogfish Head and the Grateful Dead. That's taking place on Wednesday, March 12th. Brooklyn Bowls, Williamsburg, Brooklyn location, brooklynbowl.com/Brooklyn for tickets. The a live performance by beloved Grateful Dead cover band Bushwick's Dead. They will be also celebrating this new Juicy Pale Ale that they did in collaboration with the Grateful Dead. I will be there. I hope to see you too. When we come back after a short break, Phil Petracca from Source Brewing and Beverage Beverage will join me from Source in Colts Neck, New Jersey. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. We're coming to you from Source Farmhouse Brewing in beautiful Colts Neck, New Jersey. I actually picked a day they're having a private party, so it might get a little noisy in here in a little bit, so forgive us here. It's been a few years since I had the guy on my left on the program, but it was last year when I had the guy on my right on the program. We were actually in the Fishtown section of Philly at Source Urban Brewing, I think the last time we spoke. But Source has, here in Colts Neck, New Jersey, they have the Fishtown section of Philadelphia. They have their place. They're building out in Manayunk. And today we're talking about Beverage Beverage with the two gentlemen that are in front of me, co-owners Phil Petracca and Greg Taylor. Gentlemen, welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Al. It's always a pleasure to be able to speak with you, and just real grateful to be able to talk about what's going on at Source and our new venture, Beverage.
Yeah. Greg, how are you?
Hey, always a pleasure, Al. Happy to have you at Source, and you do the great work getting the local word out there for all things craft beverages. So we appreciate it.
I appreciate that, and joining you that one time on your weekly sips, that was a lot of fun. We're going to have to do that again very soon. So let's start with Beverage Beverage here. What is it? And for those that are unaware, what is Beverage Beverage? I know you gave me the spiel, off mic, Phil, but let's give everybody a general view of what Bellaray Beverage is.
Yeah, so Bellaray Beverage is New Jersey's first artisanal cannabis manufacturer. So we're the very first licensed manufacturer in the state to bring these products to market. It's a new entity that we created about 2 years ago, coming off of a CBC, the Craft Brewers Conference, is where we were really introduced to the category. We got a pretty good overview. We sat in a couple seminars that talking about the category. And then when we got back, Greg and I were like, all right, so let's just really take a look at the scope and the market. And at the time, we foresaw that coming off of COVID, there was a little bit of a, let's call it sobering of the drinking population. And we didn't know if that was going to last a year or 2 years. Unfortunately, we're going on year 3, where there seems to be a decline, not only in the beer industry, but the total alcohol industry, whether that's spirits, wine, beer, it's down across the board. So I think there's a little bit of a reshift. And, and always we're looking at consumer demand in the market. And it seems the market has shifted a bit, and it seems to be a cycle. It's gone on every 10 years. There's been like a peak and then a pullback. But the pullback here has been pretty notable, and we've seen that the younger generation is drinking less alcohol than any generation we've ever recorded. And today the older generation as well have really pulled back on alcohol. When you look at prescription medication for anybody that's over 55 or 60, they're at all-time highs. And so when we looked at this, we said, well, this is a great category that we think that we can have an impact in. Nobody in New Jersey was looking at it at the time. And we thought it'd be a great way to enter the non-alcoholic segment. And, and our focus here is really on a health and wellness. So if you look at our branding, if you look at the way we're positioning our products, we hit all these key factors. They're gluten-free, they're low-calorie, they're low sugar, they're low-carb. They're all the things that you would want to consume in a healthy beverage, but they do provide you a level of happy.
I like that. A level of happy. Good. That leads into my next question. So you have different flavors, and so, Greg, I'll put it to you. The difference between, because I know people get confused, what is the difference between THC and CBD?
Sure. So the CBD and, beverages, creams and stuff like that, that's been around and out, for quite some time, and has more to do with kind of not really lifting you up, kind of just, muscle fatigue and things of that nature, not really psychologically going to feel too much in that regard. It's not like a recreational thing. Also, the technology of how to incorporate the CBDs and the THCs into beverage to make them essentially water soluble. It's the nano emulsion technology. So when CBD beverages first started coming out, they had issues with clinging to the inside of the cans or separating out because the oil in the water is not super soluble. But this new nano emulsion technology essentially shrinks down to nanoparticle size, and the oil is essentially distributes itself evenly and makes it colloidally stable in the liquid. So that's one kind of advancement in all the cannabinoids in general. But to get back to your question about CBD versus THC, the THC will have the kind of active high feeling that you would get like in smoking a joint or something. However, in these beverages, we have the serving size kind of dosed in a way that can be sessionable and manageable. Right. And another cool thing about the nano emulsion is because the particle is shrunken down so small, that actually gets into your bloodstream much quicker. Typically, like if you had an edible, like a gummy that had THC in it, that would have to go through your whole digestive system and be absorbed. It could come on 40 minutes, 60 minutes right. plus. And, when you consume THC, it's going to affect your body a little bit differently than if you're smoking it, say. So tolerances, people will have to kind of understand what their tolerance is. That goes for avid smokers versus people who, haven't touched THC. That's why this format, we have about 10 milligrams per 12-ounce can, and that's 2 5-milligram servings. So we recommend, cracking open a can and slowly sipping it like a wine. I mean, it's delicious, but, try to, for that first one at least, monitor, how you feel, because it does come on about 10 minutes, which is great. So it's a predictable on-set time and off-set time, too, which is also cool if you're just trying to hang out, and then get behind the wheel. You'll know that, hey, this is going to kind of come in and be out in about an hour. I'm not going to get off in some, crazy trip and be in a closet somewhere. Like, it's super chill, mellow, manageable, and really meant for, like, a gateway for the non-smoker.
Talking with Phil Petracca and Greg Taylor, co-owners of Source Brewing right here in Colts Neck, New Jersey, Source Urban Brewing in the Fishtown neighborhood of Philadelphia, soon to be in Manayunk, and also Beverage Beverage. BellRayBeverage.com is the website for more information. They're also on Instagram as well if you do a search for Bellaray Bev, I believe is the Instagram handle. We're here on the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. So you're producing this in Asbury Park, if I'm not mistaken, but you have to sell it elsewhere. The Asbury Park location is just for production itself. And talk to me where it's available. Liquor stores, dispensaries, things of that nature, or is it something else?
Yeah, so right now our focus is purely on the liquor store channel. We feel it's very important that you have to be 21 or older to consume this product. The liquor stores already have those controls in place. If you're a minor, you can't walk into a New Jersey liquor store and even get a bottle of water or a bag of chips.
So but in a bodega, you'd be able to, or a deli or something like that, you'd be able to maybe get it much more easier.
Yeah, so we're very focused on the liquor store channel because they have a long history of selling to people that are 21 and older. So that's important to us. And right now we're in about 100 liquor stores. Just this week we launched in all Bottle King locations throughout the state.
Nice.
And we anticipate we'll be about 500 to 700 locations by spring. So we are moving quite rapidly. Our production facility, we're actually, it's kind of funny. When if you look at the legacy of me and Greg meeting and how we got to here, it all started with the previous startup I had was physics.
Right.
And we had our physics viewing party when I was on Shark Tank at Asbury Park Brewery. And would you believe it? Asbury Park Brewing, they moved to a smaller location in Cookman, and they left this beautiful production facility. So we took that right over. So we were in the old Asbury Park Brewing location. We built out a world-class manufacturing facility there. The equipment we have, our own canning line, we have our own tunnel pasteurizer, our mixing tanks. So we really designed it to produce these beverages in volume. And we also have a couple of accounts that we're producing for other brands.
Okay.
Some of them are in the space, some of them in the non-alcoholic space. And we have an interesting one. We're in negotiation with. We have a pretty cool product. I really can't talk much about it, but we do some contract brewing out of that facility as well. So if there's somebody who wanted to get into this market, we would be a person they can call that can help them on the production side of the business.
Very cool. Now, none of this is something you can't order this stuff online and have it shipped to you. You have to go to a liquor store to purchase it. And is there any thought of opening the production facility as a tasting room in some way, or you're just going to keep it specifically as a production facility?
Yeah, the focus here is complete opposite to our focus at Source.
Right.
Hence the name Source, because we always believe the best drinking experience is had directly from the brewer's tap at the source. This business was set up to be 100% distribution. And, we have been and continually working with the legislators in the state to come up with regulations because we do think this is very important for the state to regulate this category, remove all the bad actors that are selling product at gas stations and corner stores that aren't tested, that we don't understand even what is in the products. And kids are getting access to that. So we are 100% focused on changing that and making sure that they outlaw that. But this is a product that the state should tax. There's, currently New Jersey is the number 2 market in the country behind Minneapolis.
Wow. Where it started.
And
right.
If you look at the volumes, just last year, there was an excess of close to 100,000 cases sold in New Jersey last year. So there's a tremendous amount of tax revenue that the state can gather from this product and, apply to other programs. So we're working with the legislators. We're working to get this done last year. There was a bill that was pushed through, a very bad bill. Even the governor was pretty vocal about it when he signed it. It immediately was challenged in federal court, and it was pretty much struck down. So the CRC is now tasked with coming up with guidance. Their only guidance now is to sell it to people that are over 21. But we're hopeful that we can continue to work And we're working with everybody. We're working with folks on the cannabis manufacturing side, the dispensaries, the hemp lobby, the wholesaler lobby, the liquor lobby. We're talking to all these folks because in the last piece of legislation that went down, I was very disappointed in the cannabis industry in New Jersey. Here is a federally illegal product, a Schedule I product, that we made legal in the state. And, our opinion is it should be legal, right? And that group was trying to kill a federally legal product in the hemp industry. To me, it was, very disappointing and something I think they should be ashamed of themselves about. Right. Now, I think they've got complete buyer remorse, and they understood that they're really hurting themselves as well because, this beverage, like Greg was talking about the onset and offset time. The onset time is the time you consume something till you feel effects, and the offset times is once you feel the effects, how long you feel them for. Now, smoking marijuana and vaping marijuana does have health implications, right? And not a lot of people want to have those health implications, right? I think it took us a long time to get people to understand that smoking cigarettes or inhaling smoke is a bad thing, right? The edibles have their challenges as well because based on your metabolism, based upon what you ate that day, it could be an hour and a half before you feel effects. But the offset time is also very long. Right. So people are taking CBD or taking THC to help them go to sleep, but they're waking up for work the next morning and they're still high. They're still groggy. So the beverages to us are the perfect delivery mechanism because you feel the effects within 10, 15 minutes as if you were smoking or vaping without those health implications, but the offset time is also reduced. So you're not high for 5-6 hours, And it's easy to regulate. Like Greg had mentioned, we tell everybody, sip this like you're sipping a cocktail or like you're sipping wine. And in 10 minutes, you will feel a level of happy. If you want to increase your level of happy, keep on sipping. If you want to pause and reduce your level of happy, you pull back. So it's easier to regulate than even alcohol is. Right. So we feel it's the ideal delivery mechanism. We like the idea that this is a package is in a can. It's easy to transport and take with you. And we think, as the level of awareness rises, the category is going to rise. But today, in the stores that are selling it in New Jersey, it's 20% of their total sales, including spirits, including wine, including beer. It's 20%. And that is only going to grow as the awareness increases. My dad's 80 years old, right? My dad's a just say no person. My dad's very strict growing up, right? If you come home, I catch you with drugs, you're dead, right? But now he's utilizing this to help him sleep at night. He tried the CBD, he tried the edibles, he's never going to smoke, he's never going to vape, and he had a negative experience with it. But these beverages, he loves them. And now, like everybody in his 55 and older community, they're all running to the liquor stores to buy it. So, which is very reassuring, and especially the younger generation. My daughter's now 22 years old. Bella a long time. We're very progressive in our home. Like, there's everything. Her friends over. We have beer, we have alcohol, we have wine, whatever you want. There's there. Consume it responsibly in front of us. I can tell you, they just crush these THC beverages. That's just what they go for.
I love it. All right. We are actually going to end this part of the interview here. We're going to come up next. We're going to do Suds and Duds on the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Next week, you're going to hear part 2 of the interview with Source Brewing. We're going to talk all about the beer. That's taking place next week. But right now, when we're going to take a break and we're going to do Suds and Duds on the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Final segment of the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Electric Funeral from Black Sabbath's Paranoid. Yep, the big Black Sabbath final show that Ozzy Osbourne will be doing with Black Sabbath coming up this year, July the 5th, in Birmingham, in his hometown. He's already said he's not going to play a full set with them. He'll do a few songs. There's a lot of other artists that will be there, and it is July 5th. Confirm the date. That's the same date as Gary Clark Jr. at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park. Next week, we'll play some Gary Clark Jr. because I'm pumped. Not sure yet if I'm going to actually get tickets and go into the venue or just pop a lawn chair, go down a couple hours early, have some food and drink and whatever, and then sit on the boardwalk and listen to the show. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, let us dive into Suds and Duds, shall we? Because that's always a segment I like to have a little bit of fun with. Started off with the Coconut Porter by Wet Ticket Brewing. Picked up a 4-pack of this, I don't know. It was about a month ago, something like that. And always a solid choice. The thing that I like about this is I love a good porter, but it's the balance of coconut. The coconut is there, but it's not oppressive. Sometimes coconut can get a little too aggressive in beers. This is just the right amount of coconut that you want in this type of beer. It's delicious. And I can drink this over and over and over again. This is something where Tim has really dialed in. Tim Pewitt, one of the co-owners and the brewmaster of Wet Ticket. This is one of those beers where he really got the recipe dialed in and just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't tweak it. Don't play with it. Just, you nailed it. Keep doing it. Bottom line. And listen, I love Wet Ticket. You've heard me talk about them more than enough. I mean, so much so that we did a collaboration beer, which was fantastic. The Too Much Fun, by the way. It's a great IPA. And I'm sure they're going to be pumping more of it out very, very soon. All right. Icarus Brewing. We had John Henderson on from the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival a couple weeks back. And they were doing a ticket event. That's why I was at Icarus. And so, of course, I'm going to enjoy some of the stuff at Icarus. The thing with Icarus, though, for me, it's a little bit of a haul for me. It's about 40 miles. And so it's about a good, 40-minute, 45-minute drive for me with no traffic. So I have to be careful, obviously, in what I'm drinking because, I do have to get back in my car and drive back. So a lot of times I'll do smaller pours at Icarus. Maybe have one or two big ones spread out over, the couple of hours that I'm there. And the great thing about Icarus, this is the other great part, is 25 burgers right next door, which is fantastic. So you can order right at your table. They will deliver it right to your table. You don't even have to leave the place. It's fantastic. It's a great setup. Jason has done an amazing job there with the brewery. They're booking weddings. I mean, you could have your wedding there. You could have parties there. They're just doing a great job. Right in Brick now, right off of Route 88. Fantastic. Just a great little spot in Brick, New Jersey, and not that far off the Parkway. Maybe a 6-minute ride at best off the Parkway. Very simple to get to. So Eastern Horizons, this is the Baltic Porter that they had. Roasty, chocolate, delicious, excellent. As soon as I saw it on the list, and they have 25 taps, that was the first one I was getting. Then I had a little taster of the Yacht Clown, which is the them and Heavy Reel did a, was it Heavy Reel? Yeah, Heavy Reel did a collab. Nice and flavorful. That was really delicious. Then Jason said to me, you have to get the 8 years' worth of squeeze, the Tiki Punch version. I was going with the other one, the golden one. But he said, get this one first, then get the other one. And he was right. Liquid Hawaiian Punch. Man, what a good beer. And I had a little taster of that. Boy, I could have had a big one, and I would not have had an issue with it. That was a fantastic beer that they put out for their 8th anniversary, which I missed. How come I missed that? I think it was that Bottle Share. Same weekend as the Bottle Share. Pretty sure. Java Joint. This was another one. Nice coffee and chocolate hit. It was boozy, but not over the top, which I really liked. I mean, it was, had some heft to it. I think it was somewhere around 9%. But not bad. I mean, really, really not bad. And the balance of the coffee and chocolate was fantastic. Then I had the peaches and cream, 8 years' worth of the squeeze. Solid peach flavor in this, but definitely if I had to choose one over the other, this would be my dud, and the Hawaiian Punch version, the Tiki one, would be my suds. I mean, without a doubt. Not that the peaches and cream wasn't good, just I would have gone back to the well again and again for the Tiki Punch over and over. No, there's zero question on that one. And then I had a big glass of the Life in Hellas, which is, I had that with my burger. I mean, how could you go wrong? I mean, I have to say, Icarus is known for their IPAs, right? But their lager game, do not sleep on it. Their lager game is tremendous. That's why they do a lager fest every year. That's why they do all these collabs. Their lagers are fantastic. And the fact that they have 25 taps so they can always have a lager or a Pilsner Furio has become their sort of house Pilsner. And they never thought that was going to be their house beer, but it is. Do not sleep on Icarus for that. Don't just say, it's just yacht juice and yacht juice and yacht juice. No, it's not. Believe me, there's a lot more to Icarus than just yacht juice. And their Hellas is banging. But speaking of yacht juice and yacht shake and all this other stuff, so Pinata Shake, the oat fluffed version, easy for me to say. Banging double IPA. Nice and creamy, delicious, went down smooth. That's the other thing I like. So they have a lot of beers that you can take Icarus to go, but they do mixed 4-packs, which I think is great. So you get a can of each, whatever it is they put, 4 IPAs together, 4 lagers, whatever the case may be. But you get to try different beers. So you're not committing to 4 beers that maybe if after you drink the first one you don't like the rest of it, now you're stuck with 3 beers. It's one of each. So I really enjoy that, and I think that I would love to see more breweries do that to give more sampling. I know you can taste stuff and whatever, but sometimes with a taster, you don't get enough of the full flavor that you'd want to drink it. That's why I always say I would prefer not to do flights and tasters, because the way to experience a beer is to drink a full beer. Because by the time you get 5, 6 sips in, you're finished with the beer. And it's usually a 3-sip rule. So there you go. But anyway, the variety pack that Icarus has, fantastic. Yacht Jams Volume 11, Miami Vice. This was their collab that they did with Brick City. Tons of pineapple and strawberry. There's a little hit of vanilla in there on the back end. Smooth, delicious, really, really well done. And then didn't wrap it up. I had an Orchid by Fidens. Super crushable double. So good. I mean, Fidens is great. They can, in my book, they do no wrong. And I still have a couple of cans of Fidens left, so I'm happy. It's one of those, I'll let it sit for a little bit, and then I'll have it. Yeah, I know you're supposed to drink it fresh, but with Fidens, you kind of hold off. And then a classic by Trogs, Nugget Nectar. And thank you, Trogs, for sending those beers. The Nugget and the Double Nugget. I have to have the double. I'll probably have the Double Nugget in the next week or two. But the Nugget Nectar is it's a classic through and through. It's such a great beer. You see it, you got to drink it. Trogs does great stuff, and I keep saying this. Somehow this summer I'm going to get out to Trogs, whether it's a day trip or I stay overnight. But I'm going to go out and visit the brewery, because it's long overdue over at Trogs. Good stuff all the way around. But like I said with Icarus, just to get back to Icarus for a second, Jason has done such a great job with the facility. And it's funny, they were being talked about on social media because they had posted something last week, basically saying, hey, March is coming and we're going to be opening up the beer garden again, weather permitting, obviously. And they wanted to set some rules in terms of children, because they do get a lot of families and dogs. And, basically dogs, as long as they're leashed and well-behaved, fine, not a problem. They're always dog-friendly, Icarus. But with kids, what you see now is it's a big place. Oh, they got a beer garden. Mommy and Daddy are going to have a couple of drinks, and the kids run around reckless without being supervised. Not a good idea. And I'm not a fan of this. You're going to bring your kids, drink responsibly, keep an eye on your children. Other people in there are not your babysitters for your children. Put your stuff back when you're done. There's games. There's plenty of stuff. Clean up after yourself. But the bottom line is this. You got kids, keep an eye on them if you're going to be drinking. And if not, if it's maybe 2 dads come in with their kids, have a beer, get some to go and go. That's what you need to do. And that's what people I don't think truly understand. I could spend an hour on this, honestly. My thanks to everybody involved in the show, as well as my guest, Phil Petracca from Beverage and Source Brewing. We'll do the Source Brewing part of the interview on next week's program. And, of course, last but not least, the great Buddy Watson. Back live on the Joe Piscopo Show Monday at 6 a.m. This has been the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Cheers, everybody.